Next meeting. Council meeting. Uh, this time is 6 p.m. exactly, and thank you, Council. Thank you, everyone, to be here today. And at first, we would like to open the visitor and citizen forum. Anyone in Oregon would like to speak right now? And do you have any form? I see none, so I go ahead and close the visitor and citizen forum at 6:01. And at this time, we have no subject to discuss at pre-council meeting, so I go ahead and adjourn this pre-council meeting, go to executive session based on the chapter 551 of Texas Government Code on section 551.071, 551.072, and we'll be back at regular session at 7 p.m. Thank you. On his retirement. So kid. Now you want to say something? Sir? We are in regular session. My name is Antoine. I'm Mayor of Haltom City. I call this meeting in order. At first, the invocation and pledge of allegiance by Mayor Pro Tem Lynn Thompson. Cody Phillips, Mr. Phillip. We have two council missing today because he's sick, and that's why. Go ahead. Please stand.
Thank you for every seat that's been filled here today. For each mind and heart that feels the presence of this room, we thank you. Only you truly know what we are setting out to accomplish today. We have an idea, a vision, hints, and daily instructions. We have talents, abilities, and time to work. However, only you can see in perfect detail the end of every beginning. Every project, every season, every life, nothing is ever in vain, for even mistakes and missteps are used for good. Your righteousness transcends all of our efforts and understanding. Forgive us for our pride, the pride that puffs us up and the pride that threatens to unqualify us. Strengthen our confidence in who you've made us be. Set us free from comparison in order to work together more efficiently. Please continue to provide comfort, strength, and healing to Councilwoman Hilliard. Place your protection both spiritually and physically over all of our first responders nationwide, our military stationed here and abroad, as well as all of our city employees. Bless this meeting today, all those present, as well as those lives that we will encounter afterwards. Ready us to make every moment count. In Jesus' name, amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Next, Mr. Camacho will do an announcement and event. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Meeting announcements for January 27th, 2020. In the public library, story times, Tinker Tuesdays, Imagination Station, teen programs, and other library activities are all listed on the library's website for the dates and times, so please check the website. Additional activities coming in include the Cookbook Club for Adults, which is on Wednesday, January 29th from 7 to 8. The GED study classes will be held Tuesday and Thursday from 5 to 8 p.m. The AARP Tax Preparation Assistance will be held on Thursdays from 12 to 3, and registration is required. The Social Security Seminar will be held Saturday, February 8th from 10 to 12 p.m. The Anti-Valentine's Day Party for Teens is Friday, February 7th from 6 to 8 p.m. And computer classes in English and Spanish are being held, and you need to call for scheduling and registration. I want to announce that the Haltom City Library has been notified that it is a recipient of the 2019 Achievement of Excellence Award, and a presentation will be forthcoming. We won't be having it tonight, but it will be forthcoming. In Parks and Recreation, registration has opened for the 34th Annual Haltom Stampede 5K and Fun Run. It will be held on Saturday, February 8th, starting at the Rec Center between 9 and 9:30 a.m. Walk-up registration is available at the Rec, or you can register online at www.pointactive.com. They are needing sponsors and runners, and if you sign up for a group of 10 or more, you save $5 per runner. So please contact the Rec Center for more information. The Tarrant County Fire Chiefs Association, along with several other partners, including the Guns and Hoses Foundation of North Texas, is organizing a fundraiser for disaster relief for the citizens of Puerto Rico, and will have a collection site at Central Fire Station 1. Early voting will begin for the federal primary election on February 18th through the 28th. Now, in the past, we've used the Northeast Center, the old library, for early voting for both the Republican and Democratic parties, but because of the renovations that will be happening soon, this facility will not be available. We will post a list of the available Tarrant County locations for the primary election on the city website once the final list is available. The federal primary election day will be held on Tuesday, March the 3rd, and we will post the available voting location also on the website. Now, currently, the two closest facilities available for Haltom City citizens to do early voting The first one for the south end would be Tarrant County Election Center, which is at 2700 Premier Street in Fort Worth. And on the north side, the Dan Eccles Center, which is at 6801 Glenview Drive in North Richland Hills. And the primary election day will be held Tuesday, March the 3rd. And that's our announcements.
Thank you, sir. And the next one will be monthly financial report.
Hey, Mayor, I
I'm sorry.
have a little announcement. Another city employee that shares the same retirement date as Chief Lane is Paul Berwick. And Paul's the IT director, and he has served for Haltom City for 10 years. And Paul was in the Navy, so he's kind of stealth. So he didn't, like a submarine. So he didn't want to have a retirement party or going away party. But I think we should recognize him for his years of service here at the city. And so I just wanted to do that. And so 10 years, and he retires on the 31st along with our city manager. So
Thank you, Councilman Groh. And anybody else? No. This time, will I financial director for our monthly report? Okay.
Okay. Well, hello, Mayor and council members. Tonight we have the monthly update for the month of November and December. We're gonna start with the month of November. For the summary of all funds, the city collected 6.9 million and spent about 5.7 million. And for the month of December, the city collected about 10.4 million and spent about 5.3 million. Now, overall, from the beginning of the fiscal year, the city has realized about 23.3 million, or 29% of the annual revenue, and have been spent about 4.7 million, or about 16% of the annual budget. Going to the general fund, for the month of November, total revenue about 2.9 million and spent about 3.3 million. And for the month of December, we've collected about 5.3 million and spent about 2.1 million. Overall, from the beginning of fiscal year 2020, for general fund, we have collected about 10.1 million, or 32% of the general fund revenue, and we spent about 7.7 million, or 24% of the general fund expenditure. In regards property tax revenue, for the month of November, we have collected about 808,327 for the month of November, and 3,633,076 for the month of December. And as you know, for the month of December and January is the month where we collect the most of the property tax. So overall, we have collected so far 4,790,899. It's about 48% of the total property tax we expect to collect this year. Sales tax, we've collected about 999,140 for the month of November, and 832,899 for the month of December. Total for the year is 2,713,188. That's about 25% of what we expect for the whole year. And this is a graph, shows how much we collect, a comparison between the previous 3 years. We didn't see a lot of growth this month. It's about the same. Comparing to neighbor city, for this month, our sales tax has dropped about 20.25%, which is it's not something to worry about for this month. It's about the same, because overall we still 1.61% increase. That's all. you guys have any questions.
Council, you need any question? None. Thank you, sir. And Chief Phillips, 2020 crime statistic first quarter.
I need a glass of water. I'm talking too much today. So Lane's favorite 50-something slides that we're about to go through. This is the first quarter stats for Haltom City. This covers, again, it covers the police department, code enforcement, and animal services as well. Total calls for service compared from fourth quarter to first quarter were down 9%. And then from year to year, we were just slightly up the 1%. This will give you a breakdown of traffic stops and all that is what that's included in this one. Our offenses, fourth quarter to first quarter, were down 24%. And then year-to-date comparisons from last year were down 16%. Murder offenses, fourth quarter to first quarter, you'll see these. These are both the homicides, one that occurred up in District 5 and then the other one down there in District 2 at the apartment complex. All offenders have been arrested, not identified. I was joking, but thanks. Everybody's been arrested and everybody's been identified on that, so there's no outstanding suspects on any of those. Rapes were up 14%, only 2 offenses when you compare them to fourth quarter to first quarter. And year-to-date comparison is down 24%. The major drop in this category is what we talked about last year was the presentation that they had in the school. It wasn't done this year. The offenses are all known offenders. There's no unknown offenders. Most of them are statutory rapes, statutory sexual assaults, or family members. Robberies were up only 1 offense, fourth quarter to first quarter, and then down 65% year-to-date from last year. And you remember last year we were having our fair share of robberies between us and Fort Worth, and usually involving about the same amount of people. Our aggravated assaults were down 39% quarter to quarter, and slightly up 2 offenses, 17% year-to-date on both offenses. The next category, building of a burglary, there was, since we've transitioned from a universal or the UCR stats to IBR stats, we've had to go in and notice some failures on our reporting system about how things were coded. So previously, they were being coded under one offense, so you would see residential and commercial burglaries all in the same category, which were skewing the numbers. So we went back and actually hand counted. So these numbers, the numbers that for 2020 are the actual correct numbers. The blue numbers from the year before or the quarter before might be a little off, but they're pretty accurate. You're down 4% and then up 92%, so 12. Out of that, 2 of those occurred in storage buildings, so they were up off Haltom Road to those storage facilities. So each one of those buildings is considered a separate location, so those helped increase the number slightly. Out of all of these for this last quarter, there were 16 arrests made, and out of 2 of those arrests, they were responsible for multiple of those burglaries. Burglary residents, quarter to quarter, were slightly down, and then up 94%, almost double for year to year. These were also due to some of the recalculations and coding that was sent to the state. Out of those, there's been 6 arrests made in the last quarter for burglaries of a residence. Most of those, again, are front doors and rear doors being kicked open. Theft is down 4%, and then slightly up year to date for both 2%. BMVs, or burglary of motor vehicles, are down 26%, and then down 19% year to date. Vehicle thefts are down again 27%, and then matches it year to date. Our arrests are down 14%, although I'd like to point out our DWIs are slightly up as well. And then year to date comparison, about the same. So if anybody's got any questions about the PD numbers, I can answer those.
Any questions for Chief? No, and
Got 2 more to go.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But by the way, good job.
I appreciate it.
I saw the minus number, big number. I have never seen this before, and must be they know Keyland living, right?
Well, I was told by a smart man, I'm not going to say his name, but he said if you take ownership when crime goes down, you got to own it when it goes up. So I'm not taking ownership for any of it right now. So.
Thank you.
You're
Next. Code enforcement.
Code enforcement numbers. We're currently down. Number-wise, we're fully staffed. Functionality-wise, we're down 3. We have 1 out for FMLA, and then 2 that are not completely certified where they can write citations and all that. They can only do the inspections, have to, kind of like what we did through our code presentation last week. So these are impressive numbers with basically two people doing a majority of the work. As you can see, these are the topics that y'all identified that you would like to see, the hot topics. So if y'all have any questions about any of those, I'd be willing to answer any questions you have. So for I guess you can't see them all. So the first category for everybody in the audience is brush. The second one's high grass. The third one's junk, trash, and debris. The fourth one is junk vehicle. The fifth one is parking complaints. And then the last one is zoning. Year to date on warrants served and citations, again, with the amount of people that we've had, they maintained comparative to what they were the year before. Anybody have any questions?
Any question, Council? None. Thank you. Now the animal service.
Animal service. Again, these are year to dates. Here's the year to date comparison for dogs. As you can see, there's up in every category, down in euthanasia. They've done some great things down there with, identifying dogs that were adoptable, helping foster things until they can get them fixed or find a decent home for them and getting them out. Our feral cats, so last year it was 15 during this quarter, and this year it was only 6. Again, they're identifying feral cats and tame cats a little bit more efficiently and dealing with those accordingly. Tame cats, and so these numbers are fluid. So you may have a cat that's taken in July and not adopted until this last quarter, this first quarter. So the numbers will show up in this slide, but it was actually they were taken in on the month before, the quarter before. So the adoptions were up 64%. Euthanasias were up, and went back and looked at the euthanasias. 4 of them were for being aggressive. 2 were bite cases. 1 was injured beyond being able to be receiving medical treatment, and then 11 were sick. And then calls for service, again, 487, up 17% with the amount of people that they have down there. Is pretty amazing what they do. And that's all I have on that one.
You have any question? Let me have one question, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Is our animal service is just for the season of Haltom City, or anybody can bring them in from
Anybody
outside?
can not bring them in. Anybody that can come in there and adopt animals or.
No, I mean when they bring the dog in, some animal they don't want it. Can the people from like North Richland here, Watauga, bring them here or not?
They can, if they can bring them here, but there's a surrender fee associated with that.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Chief, how many people do we have working at Animal Services?
We're 1 short currently. We're in the process of doing it. So currently we only have 3 plus a kennel tech, so 4.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. And just one last thing. There is I know I've said it a bunch. If you go online, communitycrimemaps.com, and you can go in there and you can look at the crime and not just Haltom City, but you can compare it to North Richland Hills, Watauga, Fort Worth, Bedford. There's a lot of agencies around that, so you can compare and look at, what our crime stats are compared to what other cities are around here.
Thank you, and excellent report.
Thanks.
Thank you. Next one will be to item number 3, 4 minutes and the curfew ordinance second reading. And I'm sorry. Before that, because I didn't see you, Miss Tony. Are you ready? We have the thank you, City Manager. Steve. Even the last minute, he still do a good job, you know. Remind the mayor. Thank you. We have the long-term employee service award. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I just want to commend the Animal Services Group for the efforts that they've been taking to drive the euthanization numbers down. Great job.
Oh, thank you very much.
Go ahead, sir.
The first person I'd like to give a long-time service award is Captain Sean Holt. He's been here for 25 years. Been a very integral part. He served on SWAT. He's currently over Fleet, Animal Services, and Code. That's why he doesn't have any hair anymore. But he's a. Am I saying it? He's a man of few words.
You want to say something for us?
I just want to say I've been here for 25 years and, you know, hit a low spot about 15 years ago to the point to where I was seriously thinking about leaving Haltom City and possibly even law enforcement altogether. And with the introduction of Chief Lane, and I know he's been city manager here for quite some time, but you'll always be Chief Lane to me because you really were a turning point that brought, not done yet. You were a turning point that really kind of turned things around a 180 degree and started pushing us to go upward and working together more and bringing the department and the city to where we are today. And we're going to continue to grow. Your leadership as clearly defined, and Chief Phillips has really continued that as well. And I look forward to the next 10 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, turn around.
This next one's kind of special. It's so I come here in October of '99, and shortly after graduating the academy, he was my first FTO. Taught me almost nothing that I know today, but it really helped me when I was in patrol. He was very instrumental. First day on patrol, I think, got 5.5 pounds of meth off a traffic stop, and it was like, oh, this is what it's about. So it's a pleasure to introduce you to Sergeant James Haley. Been here also 25 years of service with the Haltom City. No, he can say two words or something.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah, take a picture.
Thank you, sir.
I think I'm done.
Okay. You know, when I see a lot of people with 25, 20 years, I really appreciate that you stay with our city, even somewhere they maybe pay a little bit higher, but you loyalty to our city, that I appreciate that. Thank you so much. We have item number 3, number 4, Garfield Ordinance, second reading, and the minutes. Council, you have any comment or question? If not, this 2 items ready for the motion together. Don't be shy. Go ahead. Councilman Grohl.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda, items 3 and 4.
Thank you, sir. And Councilor Susan Salt.
Thank you, Mayor. That would be for a second.
Okay, we already got a second. Please register your vote. Okay, we have unanimous 5-0 approve both item number 3 and 4. Now go to regular agenda. Number 5, ordinance number O-2020-001.03. First reading, Mr. Faust. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor. On May 7th of 2016, the voters of Haltom City authorized a 3/8 cent sales tax to go for the purposes of repairing and maintaining existing city streets. Of our total 2-cent sales tax, 1.375 cents goes to the general fund, 0.375 goes to the street tax, and 0.25 to the CCPD. This would authorize the election to occur on May 2nd to continue the 3/8 cent sales tax for 4 more years. And according to the Texas tax code, this is something that we have to do every 4 years.
Okay, Council, you have any question for Ms. Faust? No? Ms. Grove? No? No, sir. Okay. At this time, I will open the public hearing at 7:40. Anyone on audience would like to speak against this item? I see none, so I go ahead and close the public hearing at the same time, and this item ready for motion. Councilman Rowe?
Mr. Mayor, make a motion that we approve ordinance Oscar-2020-001-03, calling for a special election in May 2nd on first reading.
First reading. And Councilman Susan Soul?
Thank you, Mayor. That's for a second.
Thank you, ma'am. And this one ready for your vote. This item number 5, unanimous, approved for first reading. Now I go ahead and move to number 6, the plat number P.01.20, and Ms. Batchelor. Go ahead, ma'am. Did she do? Ms. Batchelor, are you doing 6 and 7 together or what?
I
Which
am.
way?
We're going to bundle those two, but I will need separate motions on both items.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, so this is a public hearing of Grayson Sabalos creating a single-family lot locally known as 3932 McComas. There was a house that was demolished in July of 2019, and they're going to build a brand-new house. It's .596 acres and zoned SF1. There were 18 property owners notified, with 1 in favor, none opposed, and 1 returned to sender. Oh, wrong slide. No, this is Menace. Laura. Maybe it's at the end. No, she doesn't have it in here. Menace is in here twice.
Okay. So you
Single residential lot. They're going to build a brand new house.
Which one?
McComas 3932. Agenda items 6 and 7. No, that's oh.
Which one?
002. PPO.
This one?
Over to the right.
This one?
No, down. Right.
That's 3.
It was on the.
Let's put the files out again.
Do the PP 220. That's it. Okay, so this is a lot. It's on the south side of McComas, east of Beach Street, surrounded by other single family. This is facing south from McComas, facing west on McComas towards Beach Street, facing north across the street, and facing east towards Eastridge. And I'm available for any questions. Again, I will need 2 separate motions.
Council, you have any question? If you don't, at this time, I will open public hearing on item number 6, preliminary plat P.001.20. Is anyone in audience would like to speak against this item? At 7:45, and I see none, so I close at the same time. Appreciate that. Now I open public hearing on item number 7, final plat P.002.20. Is anyone in the audience would like to speak against this item? I also see none, so we have closed, and at this time, both items 6 and 7 ready for
Vote on each individual.
number 6. At this time, we would like to motion for item number 6. Councilman Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. For item number 6, preliminary plat P-001-20, make a motion to approve.
Thank you. And Council Susan Saul.
Thank you, Mayor. That's for second.
We got the second. Please register your vote. Item number 6, unanimous approved. Now I go to motion for number 7, final plat. Council Van Zandt.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the final plat P-002-20.
Thank you, ma'am. And Councilman Weiss.
For a second.
We got a second. Please register your vote. Item number 7, unanimous approved. Now I move to number 8, replat P.003.20. Ms. Batchelor, go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is public hearing and consideration on the application of David Dang for approval of a replat for the property locally known as 5302 East Belknap. The applicant is intending to do an addition to an existing strip center on the west side. Before a permit can be issued, an attached addition to the plat must be filed with the county. The lot will be 3.1156 acres and is zoned C3 commercial. On January 14th, Planning and Zoning recommended unanimous approval. There were 16 property owners notified, 1 in favor, none opposed, and none returned to sender. So replat is they're erasing this property line between Lot 1 and Lot 2 to create the one lot of record. This is the site plan and landscape showing the addition on the west side with a 4-foot landscape buffer going along the property line at the west side, landscape medians, and then a feature here in the middle of the parking lot. There also will be a gated entryway on the east drive approach off of Belknap. This is facing east along Midway, to the north from Midway, again to the north, different perspective. This is where the addition will be adjoining the existing building. Facing south from Belknap, again facing south. Again, it's going to be over here on this side. Facing west towards 28th Street. This is a conceptual drawing without the hot air balloons. But there was a dragon dance Sunday. Another concept drawing showing the addition. The parking will not be here. This is not just perspective of what is actually going to be built there. There's that entryway feature that we were talking about, and that's the one in the parking lot, along with the landscaping throughout the property. If you have any questions unavailable, the consultant and property owner are also here.
Yeah, Council, you have a question? None? At this time, I open the public hearing for replat. Anyone at the 7:49 and anyone in audience would like to speak against this item? Go ahead, sir. Please state your name.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, my name is Charles Clausen. I represent Mr. David Dang and his request for the replat of this property. As Glenn has very well said, we are proposing to eliminate the property line that's already existing. We have 2 lots. We're going to eliminate that property line so we can build over that what used to be property line. This is going to change the whole face of Belknap. We're really excited about this proposed expansion. It all has to tie together. You have to understand what all is occurring to appreciate what's being accomplished here. The face of that building is going to completely change. It's going to give a character that's never been there before, and I think it will be something that you will be real pleased with when this is all said and done. The expansion is a series of restaurants and office space. It eliminates that green space that is to the west of the existing building. So the building goes all the way over to the property line. We're proposing a green space in between our property and the adjoining property. It'll have a fence so there's no intervening cars. It's just really a nice project. We're real pleased to ask you to approve this tonight and be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
You done a good job. Nobody want to ask you a question.
That's good. Thank you.
But, by the way, thank you so much, you and Mr. David Dang. You know, I think that will change the image of south of Haltom.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
I wish everybody attend the truck and dance on Sunday because he did not tell me, so I could not tell the people that we have big truck and dance. And next time you better do better, Mr. David. And thank you so much, sir. And at this time, I go ahead. Anyone else would like to speak against this item? I see none, so I will close the public hearing at 7:51. At this time, the item number 8 ready for motion. Councilman Weiss.
Thanks, Mayor. For item 8, replat P-003-20, make a motion that we approve.
Thank you, sir. And Councilman Susan Soul.
Thank you, Mayor. This for second.
Thank you. We got a second. If you don't have any question, go ahead, register your vote, please. This item number 8, unanimous approved. Thank you, Ms. David. And thank you, sir. Charles. And now number 9, Ms. Batchelor again. Ordinance number 0-2020.003.15. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. This is a public hearing and consideration on the application of Michael Woods for a conditional use permit for a commercial amusement indoors in the C3 district containing approximately 5,811 square feet of lease space locally known as 5620 Denton Highway. This was previously UBID Auction House right behind Brahms. The applicant is proposing to open an indoor arcade that will have arcade, console gaming, and board and tabletop games. They will also have a concession stand to offer food. Beer and hard cider will be available to adults, and they will offer a set amount for a day pass and will offer monthly passes for unlimited play. Their hours of operation will be Wednesday and Thursday from noon to 11 p.m., Friday and Saturday from noon to midnight, and Sunday from noon to 10. On January 14th, Planning and Zoning Commission recommended unanimous approval. There were 35 property owners notified with none in favor, none opposed, none returned to sender. And again, this is the property as a whole, which is listed as 5600 Denton Highway, but the space we're talking about is right about here behind Brahms, like I said, where UBID was. This is the layout of the whole shopping center with Brahms here. This is A-Smart, and they're like right in there. So this will be limited strictly to that one tenant space. This is the layout. I don't believe they'll have to make any improvements with what was already done previously when UBID acquired it. It's ADA compliant. Another layout of the existing floor space. This is facing east from Denton Highway, facing north to the west across the street, and to the south towards 820. I'm available for any questions, and the applicant is also here.
Councilman Grove, you want to ask a question?
Yeah, I know there are some citizens that live right near there. They had some questions about this, but are there going to be security cameras in that facility?
That'd be a question for the applicant.
Was the applicant all right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Okay. If you come identify yourself. Sure. And so.
Go ahead,
So
sir.
security
Welcome.
cameras, are they going to be interior and exterior? I know they
Correct.
had some questions about the alleyway that's behind.
Correct. Yeah, that we'll have them on the inside and the outside.
Okay, and I read some of your information in the packet. What type of clientele are you looking to market to?
So in the early hours up until 8 o'clock, it will be, I mean, we're a family-owned and operated establishment, and you know, my daughters are going to be working there, my brother's going to be working there, and my wife is going to be working there. So it completely family-oriented at that point. At 8 o'clock, anyone under 21 will be leaving the facility, and then adults can stay and mingle until later in the night. I don't want to keep any kids out late, so.
Okay, now, a personal question for myself.
Sure.
Are you going to have Galaga?
Yes.
Tempest?
Yes. Here's a,
So-
this is just, these are all machines that I've been working on for the last 3 years. I have a 60-hour work week job. I work for Audi, so I work for a German car manufacturer. It's very, you work there a lot. You're there many hours. So most of the time, this is me waking up extremely early in the morning or coming home late at night and then going into the warehouse and working on, as I said previously, we're talking about decades-old technology that I'm bringing back to life and trying to give the most authentic look of any machines out there. There's multiple other arcades like this in other cities, and just paying at the door and not having change in your hand, having to deal with coin mechs or.
Well, I know
it's
Keller
great.
has something similar to
Yeah,
that.
Tornado Terry's in
Yeah.
Keller. That's great.
I've been there. So. Now, this is a nice addition. I feel it's going to be a nice addition to that area because right catty corner we have the go-kart track.
Right, you have the go-kart track and the skating rink, so
Yeah.
it kind of puts a little entertainment area for, you know, children and adult
Yep.
children alike. So,
So I appreciate it, and thank you.
any other questions?
Vincent, Council Vincent.
First of all, I just want to say it's not scary. So I read your letter. And I'm just curious, will alcohol be sold during the day?
It will be sold during the day.
Okay.
But again, this is going to be the same as Applebee's and Chuck E. Cheese, believe it or not, Dave & Buster's main event.
Okay.
We're not serving any hard liquor or anything like that. It would just be beer and hard cider. So.
Well, I'm grateful for more entertainment in Haltom. People have been asking for that.
Absolutely.
And I just want to let you know, I see where you said give us a place to call home, and we're glad that you want to make Haltom City your home.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any more questions from council? No? At this time, I would like to open public hearing at 7:57. Anyone in the audience would like to speak again this item? I see none, so I close public hearing at the same time. By the way, thank you so much for bringing business here.
Thank you. Your
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you, Councilman. Thank
Okay,
you.
this item number 9 ready for motion, council, and we have Councilman Watergrove.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve ordinance Oscar-2020-003-15. Also conditional use -001-20 on first reading.
Thank you, sir, and Councilman Weiss.
They didn't have it as first reading on here, so I was wondering.
Oh. First reading?
Okay. That's for a second.
reading, Ms. Grove.
I already announced it was a first
He
reading.
announced it first reading. I just didn't see it on the agenda, so,
It should be first reading.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
All right,
got
that's
it.
for a second.
Thank you. At this time, please register your vote, council. Item number 9, unanimous approved. Thank you. You look busy tonight, right?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
last one,
Yes.
last one.
Item number 10, ordinance number O.2020.004.15. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. This is a public hearing and consider action on the application of Kyle LaPointe for a conditional use permit for manufacturing and assembly operations of commodities, including large steel and outdoor storage of construction materials in the M2 Heavy Industrial District, locally known as 2528 Menace Drive. The applicant requests approval of a conditional use permit in order to expand his existing Haltom City business, which is currently located on Menace Drive. MCL Contracting plans to construct a 7,200 square foot building with employee parking and surface improvements. Just a little background on this. There was CU 00317 that they went to P&Z on February 28th of 17 and to council March 13th and March 27th of 17. So there was a previous ordinance that expired by default due to inactivity. There were 6 property owners notified, none in favor, none opposed, none returned to sender. And on January 14th, P&Z recommended unanimous approval. This is the property at the cul-de-sac of Menace on the north end. This is their layout with a 7,200 square foot building along the west side of the property, closer to the street. The improvements are already in place as far as the fire lane and everything that was documented previously. They just didn't have the means to get the building up. This is facing northeast from Menace at the cul-de-sac, facing north from Menace, to the west across the street, to the south towards Midway, and to the east at the property to the south of them. If you have any questions, I'm available, and Mr. LaPointe is also here.
Also, you have a question?
Hey, so Glenn, they were here like last year?
It's 2017, 3 years ago.
2 years, man. Time flies.
Yeah.
I remember because they had
the thoroughfare plan.
You were in the other building across from this one.
We still are.
You still are?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, because I knew that we had some questions because there's a right-of-way along that
The
property.
thoroughfare on the east
Yep.
side. Mhm.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Can you identify yourself?
Yes.
Come on up here, Carl.
Oh, I go ahead. Hang on. Council, you have any more questions? You don't? I go ahead to public hearing and 801. Go ahead, sir. State your name, please.
Thank you, Mayor. My name's Kyle LaPointe. I'm at 7114 Hovenkamp Avenue in Richland Hills. Yeah, we started this project several years ago. We really got started in earnest, I guess, about August of 17. And we built some of the infrastructure over the course of 17 and 18. Finished our fence basically at the end of 18, got the whole property surrounded. And we've been basically looking for our funding, trying to get the last of the stuff in order. When we went to get started, we realized, oh goodness, our CUP basically had expired because we hadn't finished the building itself in that time frame. So I apologize. Our plan hasn't changed at all. We're still just down the street with our main office. We've gone month to month with that lease, and we're looking to get the building done right away. We've got subcontractors lined up as soon as we're ready to go on everything. So we're looking forward to completing the plan and the image. So if anybody has any questions,
Council, you have any
happy to
questions?
answer.
Look like you done a good job. Thank you, sir.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Anyone in origin would like to speak again? Item number 10. I see none, so go ahead, close the public hearing at 8:03 p.m. Okay, this item number 10 ready for motion. Council So.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve item number 10, ordinance number 0-2020-004-15 CU-002-20.
First reading.
First reading.
Okay. And Councilman Rowe,
That's for a second.
we got a second, so please register your vote. Ms. Grove. Okay, this item number 10 unanimous approved for first reading. And now we move to item number 11, resolution number R.2020.002.11. Go ahead. John Smith.
Good evening, Mayor. I'd like to give you some background information on the project before I ask you to open it up for a public hearing as well. The Community Development Block Grant Program is a program under the Housing and Urban Development, a federal program. It's designed to help those areas throughout the country that are low to moderate income. And in Tarrant County itself, the cities, due to the lack of funding, are divided into two groups. And basically, it really has nothing to do with one group over the other. It's just we had to divide up the cities and the county into two groups. One group gets funded on even years, another group gets funded on odd years. So the project that we briefly spoke to you about at the last meeting was a water main replacement project. That's similar to what we've done on the last few projects. Essentially what we've done is we've gone into areas of Haltom City that only have 2-inch water mains. Such water mains cannot support fire protection. So we worked rather closely with the fire department to see which areas they would most like to see upgraded. And those areas have to meet the criteria of the federal government. So the area that we're looking at is roughly 2,800 lineal foot. It's Westchester Drive, Kings Avenue, East Belknap Street, all between Waldemar and East Belknap Street. Existing, you see the layout. We have 2-inch dead end lines, and there is no line on the south side of Belknap. The project would install 7 hydrants as well as an 8-inch water main so that we would have fire protection. A summary of the costs are we're anticipating getting 140 through 180,000 through community development block grant funds. So being conservative, saying we only get 140, we would use 120,000 towards construction, 15,000 towards engineering, and the reason it's split up like that is that's the maximum count the county will let us allocate towards engineering. And so that gives you 140,000. The project's roughly 499,000. So that means that Haltom City's contribution would need to be 360, and that has been looked at or programmed in our 5-year CIP. In fact, in our 5-year CIP, I believe it was programmed as $500,000 because it's not known, that far out what we're going to receive. Having said that, I'll answer any questions. Before the mayor opens up to a public hearing, I did want to let you all know that we have put up a notice at City Hall, at the library, and on the website to let folks know that we are having this public hearing tonight.
So you have any question? I see none. Go. Oh, I'm sorry. Councilman Brown. Ricky Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. Greg, are these the same funds does the county contribute any amount to these funds?
No, sir. They just administer the program. So they're doing a lot of work that if we were an entitlement city where we'd get the funds directly, there's a lot of accounting of staff time and things of that nature that we don't have to do because the county's doing that for us.
Or is this similar to what we used on Minnie Street and McNutt Street, or?
The exact same funds.
Exact same
right.
funds, okay.
And that's why Minnie was 4 years ago. Oak Knoll was last year. So this project, if it's chosen, will go through design this year and probably be bid out very early in the next fiscal year.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I misunderstood that the county just administers the money from
Correct.
the federal government, but the county does not contribute any.
No, they handle the bidding for us. They handle all the contract documents. So they're saving staff time, but in terms of actually putting a financial amount into the overall pot, no.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Council Van Zandt.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'm curious, if this does not go through, there are no fire plugs or way for us to work if there's a fire in this area. Is that correct?
Correct. I'm not quite sure. I know what the fire department does. Is that they have water on their trucks.
Right.
They probably have to go to the next hydrant, which may be thousands of feet. They probably have that amount of hose. It's just in the fire business, it's all to response time.
Access.
And the slower it takes to putting that fire out, the more damage that's done.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. At this time, I will go ahead and open public hearing at 8:09. Is anyone in audience would like to speak again? Item number 11. I have seen none, so go ahead closing public hearing at the same time. And this item number 11 ready for a motion. Council.
I'd like to make a motion to approve, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve number 11, resolution number R-2020-002-11.
That's good. That's good. Thank you, ma'am, and Councilman Crowe.
That's for a second.
We got a second. Please register your vote, please. Item number 11, unanimous approved. Thank you. And now number 12, Fisher,
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
award of construction. Bid,
Oh, great.
go ahead.
I'm trying to find the, there we go. Yeah, Mayor and Council, thank you. Keith Fisher, City Engineer. This is a resolution recommending award of construction bid, RFB 2019-316-001 for the repainting of ground storage tanks 1 and 4, North Oaks Pump Station. Give you a little scope of what we're going to be doing. We're going to be repainting the interior and exterior of both 1 and 4 ground storage tanks located at 4312 Glenview. Basically, also replace the roof hatch, the manway, interior exterior ladders, and some miscellaneous structural repairs is whatever's needed out there at the direction of the design engineer and our city staff. There's a aerial of the tanks. The 2 tanks we'll be painting are on either side, the east and west tanks. We conducted a bid opening Friday, January 10th. We had 5 formal bids that were received, and the lowest, most responsible bid was NG Painting in the amount of $796,500. I've worked with, NG Painting hasn't done any work recently in the city. In my previous adventures in other cities, they've done several tank projects for me, and also our design engineer, they've done several projects recently with Tigdall and Perkins and other cities in the Metroplex. And there is sufficient funding in the budget, the FY 2020, for the bid amount. And I open it up for
You have
questions.
a question for, go ahead, Councilman Crowe.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I know this might be a little goofy, but North
good at
Oaks, North Oaks is right next to it. How much do you think it would be the cost to add their logo to one of those
The logo's in the project.
Oh, is it?
so-
Okay, so like the North Oaks Mustang is going to be there?
That I don't know.
The
it
Haltom
says
logo, is
logo.
there, but I'm because just to incorporate the school into the water tanks that have been there forever.
Yeah, I mean,
Any idea? Okay,
we can look into that.
Okay, all right, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And how much water can be stored in one of those tanks?
That's a good question. Those,
I think those are 1.5.
they're 1.5 million gallons, yeah.
So we got
6 million total.
6 million. Okay, very good.
And we're hopefully get started in February, and so I think we have 120 days.
And
It'll-
those are used to apply pressure to the water system, right? Or because I know because we got the big water tower over on
Right.
Haltom and 820, which is fairly
And actually,
close.
the water tower is what applies the pressure.
Pressure?
This is just the storage.
Okay.
And this is so that we always have water. We're not just relying strictly on the amount of water we can get through the feed from Fort Worth.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because I know we've talked about the water tanks because we had to deal with the pumps for the apartment complex.
Right.
And how you fill the water tanks up at night
Right.
and so if you could just describe some of that, because really the water system's amazing how it all works.
So the water system, when you think of sewer, you think of gravity. Water, you think that it's under pressure. Well, water is under pressure, but it's under pressure because 820 overhead is so high. But what people don't realize, once you get to, say, Northern Cross and Beach Street, the ground's really rising. And the ground, while it's still below the bottom of the bowl at 820 overhead, it's only to the bottom of the bowl like 38, 40 foot. So as you build a multi-story apartment complex, the taller that apartment complex gets, the less pressure you have on those upper floors. So
Yeah. I appreciate everything you guys do. It's amazing.
Sure. I did want to thank Keith. One of the reasons that you're seeing this now and why we did this so early in the fiscal year, because we obviously want to get this done before July and August, because those are obviously our highest water demand months. So the idea is to get the work done now, and so that we'll have those tanks back up and running in July and August.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Council Van Zandt.
Would you please refresh my memory as to how much was budgeted for this already?
$800,000, I'm not real sure.
It's fine.
Okay. We're within our budget for for this 2020.
Do we know how much was budgeted?
I don't have our budget in
It was
front of
about
us.
50,000 less than the bid. However,
Ma'am, go ahead.
I don't have the budget the budget list in front
I
of
don't
me.
have the exact amount with me, unfortunately, but it was about 50,000 less than the bid. However, we look to save money in other projects so that the bottom line, there should not be an issue with that.
Right. That's the money lady there.
Any more questions?
That is terrible.
By the way, let I ask you, with so many construction housing growing in Haltom City, do you forecast in the future that we have problem with the water supply?
Currently, no. We have,
No.
we're undergoing right now, we've gone to, going to water system master plan right now, and we don't know of any additions of any additional storage.
Okay, I just
So-
wonder because so
Right, that's a good
many
question.
housing and
Yeah, especially up north, right.
apartment building.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate that. If you have no question, this item ready for motion. Council Van Zandt.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve the award of construction bid RFB 2019-316-001 for the North Oaks Pump Station ground storage tanks 1 and 4 repainting, and also that the city manager be expressly authorized to execute any and all changes orders within the amount set by the state and local law.
Thank you. And Council Grow.
That's for a second.
We already got second. Please register your vote. Thank you. Item number 12, unanimous approved. And now we go to number 13, letter agreement for sale of property. City Attorney, Mr. Wayne Olson. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. The city owns a piece of property, a 1.89 acre piece of property for right-of-way purposes. And many years ago, the city determined it no longer needed the property for right-of-way. This property was put out for bid, and one company, Stream Realty Company, bid on the property to purchase it. Coincidentally, the Economic Development Corporation has a contract to sell adjacent property to Stream Realty, and that's going through the inspection phase right now. Well, Stream Realty has requested that the city and the EDC enter into a letter agreement that would have the city vacate the right-of-way and deed it to the EDC, and then the EDC will sell both the property next door and this property to Stream Realty. So what you have right now is a letter agreement that we're asking you to approve to accomplish that. The next item on the agenda is an ordinance to vacate the right-of-way, which would formally release that and abandon that right-of-way so that it could be sold to Stream Realty.
Council, you have any question? If no question, this item ready for motion. Councilman Brent Weiss, go ahead, sir.
Thanks, Mayor. For item, I need bifocals, I think. For item number 13, letter of agreement for sale of property, I make a motion that we approve.
Thank you, sir. And Councilman Sue.
Thank you, Mayor. That's for a second.
Thank you. We got a second. Please register your vote. Item number 13 unanimous approved. Now number 14 ordinance number 0.2020.00515. Mr. City Attorney.
Mr. Mayor, this is the ordinance on first reading to vacate the right-of-way that we just discussed. If there are any questions, I will be glad to answer them.
Okay. If you have no question, Council Sol, you want to make a motion or what? This ready for motion?
I think you need a hearing.
Councilman Weiss, go ahead.
I think you need a hearing. It's an ordinance. It's an ordinance. You need a hearing.
No. This one. Yeah, public hearing.
Just go ahead and just
There-
be safekeeping. or
Yes, we need a public hearing on this. Thank you.
Thank you. And at this time, I open public hearing for number 14 at 8:14. I see none, so I go ahead closing the public hearing. And this item number 14 ready for motion. And Councilman Weiss.
Thank you. Ordinance for item 14, ordinance O-2020-005-15. Make a motion that we approve on the first reading.
Thank you, sir. And Council Salt,
Thank you. That's for second.
you got second now. Go ahead, Treasurer. You vote, please. Item number 14, unanimous approved. And now the city staff report. First, in night court update, and the second, STW update.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to let you guys know that as of March, we will be ending our night court processes. We've only averaged 1.4 persons showing up for this in the last 14 months, and we're paying a great deal of money to have a prosecutor come for just usually one person, sometimes none show up. So we will be ending that in March. Also, I wanted to let you know that our software company that we use for payroll, finance, and utility billing has been purchased by another company. So STW has been purchased by a company called OpenGov Financials. So the name of the company has changed to OpenGov Financials. We don't see that that will have any quick direct impacts on us in any way. I'm very familiar with OpenGov. I've spoken to them in the past. In fact, we had been looking to purchase their budgeting software to add to our software. And we will have access to an EAP system, which is an early access plan. There's 3 phases of that plan. They have a budgeting and planning software. And then we have the option to take our STW financials and put them into the cloud, which is definitely something that's favorable for security purposes. We'll also have the option to purchase a permitting license and code enforcement suite that they offer as well. What we see will come from this is better tools, better reporting tools, better graphics that we don't currently have with STW. So we're really excited about that. That's it, Mayor.
So you have any question? None. Thank you, ma'am. The next item will be future agenda items. Council, you have anything need to put on next agenda? I see none, so go ahead. The board, commission, committees. Resignation of board, commission, and committee members. Anyone? Council, you have anyone? No. Next one will be appointment and reappointment of any member. Council? We see none. Now we go to the accused absent of council members. Attendance requirement. Go ahead, Councilman Grove.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we excuse Councilwoman Hilliard's and Councilwoman Thompson's absence for today's meeting.
Okay, thank you, sir. And Councilman Weiss?
It's for a second.
Okay, we got that. And go ahead, Treasurer, you vote, please. We got unanimous approval for both Council Marian Hilliard and Lynn Thompson absent. Thank you. Any more? No, and we already have executive session. And before I adjourn the meeting, one more time, I have to say goodbye to bad friend, bad city manager, and what can I say? I don't want to cry, okay? But I will look at him as my friend for the rest of my life. Thank you. I appreciate that. He ought to kick your head. Okay.